Most people do not struggle with boundaries because they are weak. They struggle because they care. They care about being liked. They care about harmony. They care about not disappointing others. So when the moment comes to say no, the body tightens, the heart races, and the mind whispers, if I do this, something bad will happen. This is where guilt is born, not from wrongdoing, but from fear. Today, we are going to talk about how to set boundaries without guilt or conflict, not by becoming colder, not by becoming aggressive, but by becoming clearer. This is not modern productivity advice. This is old wisdom, tested by time, applied to modern stress. In daily life, boundaries collapse in ordinary moments. A coworker asks for help again late on Friday. A family member expects emotional labor without asking. A friend vents endlessly, leaving you drained. None of these moments look dramatic, yet over time, they create quiet burnout. Psychologists consistently observe that chronic stress often comes from role overload and emotional overextension, not from a single traumatic event. People who struggle with boundaries report higher levels of anxiety, resentment, and exhaustion. The crisis is not that people do too much. The crisis is that they do too much while betraying themselves. And when self-betrayal becomes a habit, guilt becomes the leash. You can know logically that you are allowed to say no, but logic does not control the nervous system. Guilt lives in the body. It is tied to fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of abandonment. From an evolutionary perspective, being excluded from the group once meant danger. So the brain treats social tension as a threat. This is why boundaries feel risky, even when they are healthy. Eastern philosophy recognized this long before modern psychology. In Buddhism, this is linked to attachment to approval and identity. The self clings to being seen as good, helpful, or kind. When that image is threatened, suffering arises. The Buddha taught that suffering does not come from action itself, but from clinging. Not clinging to comfort, not clinging to being right, not clinging to being liked. Many people believe boundaries must be defended with force. They think strength looks like confrontation, raised voices, firm ultimatums. But this often creates exactly what they fear: conflict. In Taoist philosophy, strength is described differently. Laozi in the Tao Te Ching wrote that what is soft and yielding overcomes what is rigid and hard. This is not poetry for decoration. It is a practical observation of life. Water does not argue with the rock, yet it shapes the mountain. A calm boundary does not need to push. It simply stands. A boundary is not an attack. It is a statement of reality. I cannot take this on right now. I need rest. I am not available for this. Conflict arises when boundaries are mixed with accusation, justification, or emotional defense. Eastern traditions emphasize right speech, speech that is truthful, timely, and spoken with clear intention. This means no over-explaining, no blaming, no emotional dumping, just clarity. When clarity replaces defensiveness, tension dissolves faster than expected. Here is the paradox. The more you try to avoid conflict by pleasing everyone, the more conflict you create inside yourself. And inner conflict always leaks outward. People feel it. Relationships strain. Resentment grows. The boundary you avoid today becomes the explosion you regret tomorrow. This is why ancient wisdom insists on inner alignment first. In Confucian thought, harmony does not mean agreement. It means each role is clear and respected. When roles blur, chaos follows. In Zen practice, there is an emphasis on directness without hostility. Say what is necessary, say it once, then return to stillness. This approach removes drama because it removes the ego from the conversation. You are not trying to win. You are not trying to be liked. You are simply being honest. Modern life rewards noise, quick replies, constant availability, emotional performance. But inner strength is quiet. In Mindfulness Teachings by Thich Nhat Hanh, a Vietnamese Zen monk known worldwide for applying Buddhism to modern life, he often emphasized that peace is not the absence of noise, but the presence of understanding. When you understand your limits, guilt loses its power. You no longer apologize for existing. You no longer negotiate your worth. You act from calm, not from fear. This is not about disappearing into silence. It is about grounded action. Before setting a boundary, pause. Notice the tension in your body. Name the fear silently. Then speak simply. No story, no defense, no emotional negotiation. This method aligns with both cognitive behavioral principles and ancient contemplative practice. When the body is calm, the message lands cleanly. People may not like your boundary, but they will feel your steadiness, and steadiness reduces escalation. Most conflict feeds on emotional reaction. When reaction disappears, conflict starves. This is not theory, it is human psychology. Setting boundaries without guilt or conflict is not about controlling others. It is about mastering your inner state. When the inside is calm, the outside follows. This is wisdom meeting productivity, not doing more. Doing what matters without breaking yourself. If this perspective helped you see boundaries differently, stay with this channel. We explore ancient wisdom applied to modern stress, quiet strength, clear focus, a life that works without constant pressure. Subscribe, reflect, and practice.